A loving uncle, whatever happened there? Whatever happened there? Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. Well, today we are going to discuss this theory, looking at Sopranos season 6 before a certain nose got squeezed. And did Christopher really hate Tony? Tony was very adamant, alright? He went to Dr. Melfi, he was greeting, he's like, all I've done for this kid, and he hates me, he hates my guts. Right. Is Tony just venting at Dr. Melfi because Christopher has slept with a woman that he wanted to sleep with? Yes, Tony, right, is so up his own arse in this situation. Does Christopher really hate Tony? Look at the amount of stuff that Christopher has done for Tony and will continue to do up until a certain point in his life. He gave up Adriana. You could argue he was going to flee. Then he saw that family at the gas station. Then he turned around and went, you know what? Actually, that ain't for me, buddy. I like getting my collections. I like getting my money. I like getting this. I like getting that. So for him, that didn't go according to plan. But the reality is, he did not do that, and he stuck with Tony. Stuck by him through. He's done hits at the end of the day, and the problem is, Tony has always gave Christopher, a chance, despite Christopher being a bit, of a liability with drugs, interventions, and for the most part, Tony has stuck with Chris. You know what I mean? End of the day, they knew that Adriana had to go. He knew that. That's just the way things go in their line of work. Now, if Adriana had kids, would that have created an even worse situation for Christopher? Would he have been able to kill the mother of his children? Honestly, we see Christopher has a kid, right? In like the second half of season 6. Does he really care about that kid? I don't think Christopher's honestly that bothered by it, if we're being honest. So I think it's far off the mark from Tony Soprano to suggest that Christopher hates him. Why does he think that? If you had to pick and choose between which one of the two actually hate each other, I would actually go for Tony hates Chris to a degree. There's things that he can't stand about him, and you see this throughout the show. Obviously, Chris being a junkie, I'm not going to sit here and badmouth Tony about not being able to stand his nephew for that. I think most of us wouldn't be able to stand a junkie who became unreliable at points, let's be honest. But I think the real reason Tony doesn't like him is due to the fact that he sleeps with Juliana Skiff and Tony's arse folded before he could do it. Does that mean Christopher hates him? No. You look throughout the show with Tony though, Chris has done needless stuff. You think of like in season 4 when Christopher's brought to the table and they're sitting down with like Carmine and Johnny, or actually it might have just been Johnny Sack, and Christopher speaks and he fucks up and Tony's like, what did I say? I told you not to fucking speak, alright? And obviously that, had a bit of tension between New Jersey and New York. But why? This whole hate thing? Look at a couple of episodes prior. With the Vipers, when they stole all the wine from the bikers. They did that. And there was no sense of aminosity there. I think it's just Tony taking this extremely bad, man. And it is. And Chris has had numerous chances, don't get me wrong, but to this point, to Tony's knowledge, Christopher's been clean for a long time. Since season 6 began, I don't think... Is Tony actually aware now? He's a smart guy, right? At the end of the day, and I don't think he takes too kindly to the fact that Christopher's lied to him about this Juliana Skiff woman and all that stuff. But end of the day, I think this hatred thing is an extreme thing to say. Who hates Tony, right? Out of his crew, like actually hates him. Silvio doesn't. Paulie doesn't. Paulie's a kiss ass, so he doesn't hate him. I think the only real guy you could think that hates Tony... Fito had no love for him, but I think hate's a strong word, right? You look at Carlo. Carlo doesn't hate Tony. I think the only real guy that would hate Tony's Patsy, because he did kill his twin at the end of the day, and even though we don't know what... Patsy might not know what's true about that and what... who pulled the trigger and all that good stuff, even though it was Gigi a million years ago. Apart from him, I wouldn't say anybody in Tony's crew really hates him. I think there was an element that they're all kind of scared of him and they all laugh at his jokes, and we've already been doing that sad road before, but to turn around and say that his cousin actually hates him, I don't know what it is. It's almost like Tony was, easing himself in for justification for a later a nose screw job, man, later on in the show. But yeah, I'm not buying this. I don't think Christopher ever really hated Tony. There might have been times Tony pissed him off and vice versa, but hate's a strong word for your nephew who hasn't really done anything to you at the end of the day. Oh, Christopher's so bad because he slept with a woman that Tony wanted to sleep with. And albeit Chris did know, we're not talking about Christopher slept with Carmela, his wife, and done him dirty in his own house sort of thing. I mean, some whore, eh? She was a whore, Tony. So yeah, Tony doesn't really have a leg to stand on here, to be honest. So yeah, leave it down below. Did he hate him? I don't think he did.